Kinematics. In kinematics, we discuss about movement. Movements between the bones and movements between the articular surface. The movements between the bone means one bone with respect to other bones is called osteokinematic, and movement between the articular surface is called arthrokinematics. Now first we'll discuss about osteokinematics and then arthrokinematics. In osteokinematics, we discuss about degree of freedom, range of motion, axis and plane. In hip joint, we have 3 degrees of freedom, movement in frontal plane, sagittal plane and transverse plane. Means flexion extension, adduction abduction and rotation, internal rotation and external rotation. All these movements, 6 movements in 3 degrees of freedom, we discuss in both pelvic on femoral and femoral on pelvic motion. Pelvic on femoral means pelvis is moving on fixed femur, pelvis is moving bone and femur is fixed. In femoral, femur is moving on fixed pelvis. Femur is moving on fixed pelvis. Now we will discuss both pelvic on femoral motion and femoral on pelvic motion. First movement is femur on pelvis, means femur is moving on fixed pelvis. Femur is moving on fixed pelvis. So first movement is flexion and extension. The range of motion of flexion and extension of hip joint is depend on knee joint. If knee joint is in flex position, knee is in knee flexion or knee extension. If knee joint is in flex position, the range of motion of flexion is around 0 to 120 degree. If knee joint is in extension position, the knee joint is around 0 to 80 degree or 90 degree hip flexion. If knee joint is in flex position, the range of motion of hip flexion is around 120 degree and range of motion of hip flexion is around 80 or 90 degree. This range of motion is reduced due to passive insufficiency of hamstring. And if knee joint is in flex position, the extension range of motion is around 0 degree. If knee joint is in extension, hip extension is around 0 to 20 degree. This range of motion of decreased range of motion is due to rectus femoris passive insufficiency. Means passive insufficiency of rectus femoris. During flexion, all ligaments and capsule are in relaxed position, except inferior part of capsule. During extension, all capsule and ligament are stretched iliofemoral ligament is in maximum stretch position. Now move on next movement, abduction and adduction of hip joint. Hip abduction and adduction. Hip abduction range of motion is 0 to 40 degree and adduction range of motion is 0 to 25 degree. Hip abduction is mainly limited by hip adductors, hamstrings and anterior ligament, anterior ligament is pubofemoral ligament. And hip adduction limited by TFL, IT band and posterior ligament, ischio-femoral. Now move on internal and external rotation. Hip internal rotation and external rotation. Internal rotation range of motion is around 0 to 35 degree and external rotation range of motion is always greater than internal rotation, so its range of motion is 0 to 45 degree. Internal rotation is mainly limited by external rotator piriformis and ligament called ischiofemoral ligament. Ischiofemoral ligament. Now, in external rotation limited by IT band, TFL and iliofemoral ligament. Next movement is we discuss about femoral on pelvic motion. Next movement is pelvic on femoral motion. Pelvic on femoral osteokinematics means movement of pelvis in a fixed femur. To better understand pelvic on femoral osteokinematics, first we will discuss about lumbopelvic rhythm. Lumbopelvic rhythm. Lumbopelvic rhythm are of two types: ipsidirectional lumbopelvic rhythm and contradirectional lumbopelvic rhythm. Ipsidirectional lumbopelvic rhythm means lumbar spine and pelvis both move in the same direction. Like, suppose this is a pelvis, knee joint, lumbar spine, during forward flexion in standing position, lumbar spine move in anterior direction and pelvis also move in the anterior direction. So lumbar spine and pelvis both move in a same direction when we flex. Flexion in a lumbar flex during lumbar flexion. So lumbar spine and pelvis both move anteriorly in flexion. Contradirectional lumbopelvic rhythm means lumbar spine and pelvis both move in a opposite direction. Like during standing, walking and dancing, upper body is in neutral position, so upper body is fixed. If lumbar spine move in anterior direction and to maintain upper trunk in a fixed position, pelvis move in a opposite direction. So movement of lumbar spine and pelvis are in opposite direction. So lumbar spine and pelvis is opposite direction, so it is contradirectional lumbopelvic rhythm. So lumbopelvic rhythm are of two types: ipsidirectional and contradirectional. Ipsidirectional means lumbar spine and pelvis move in a same direction and contradirectional lumbar spine and pelvis move in a opposite direction. Now move on ipsy directional lumbopelvic rhythm. Ipsy directional lumbopelvic rhythm, first movement is flexion. During flexion, suppose this is a pelvis, lumbar spine, thorax and neck. During flexion, when upper body move anterior, lumbar spine move anterior and pelvis is also move anterior. In normal case, the lumbar spine is move around 40 degree flexion and pelvis move around 70 degree flexion. Mainly in normal condition, movement initiate from lumbar spine. So movement initiate from lumbar spine and next second movement on the pelvis. Pathologically there is a two condition is possible. If increase hamstring muscle is tight, if hamstring muscle is tight, so hamstring, suppose this is the attachment site of hamstring. If hamstring muscle is tight, it prevent anterior pelvic tilt, so increase lumbar flexion. So if hamstring muscle is tight, it increase flexion on lumbar spine. And opposite to that, if lumbar mobility of lumbar spine is reduced, like in chronic low back pain, if mobility of lumbar spine is reduced, like in chronic low back pain, so to compensate movement, hip flexion is increased. So increase hip flexion. Now discuss muscle force during muscular activity during trunk flexion. In neutral position, around no activity of gluteus maximus and medius or very mild activity, and up to 15 degree of trunk flexion, both gluteus maximus and hamstring muscles activity is slightly increased. Both gluteus maximus and hamstring activity is slightly increased. After 15 degree trunk flexion, activity of gluteus maximus is gradually reduced and activity of hamstring is gradually increased. If we plot a graph at 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 75 degree and 90 degree. At 15 degree, this hamstring activity and this red is Gmax activity, gluteus maximus activity. Both activities nearly equal, and after when trunk flexion angle is increased, the activity of activity of hamstrings is gradually increased up to 60 degree and slight reduce. And the activity, when trunk flexion angle is increased, the activity of gluteus maximus is gradually reduced. So this is the activity of hamstring, and this is the activity of gluteus maximus, means Gmax. Activity, muscular activity, and trunk flexion. This activity of gluteus maximus is gradually reduced and activity of hamstring gradually increase. It's because torque production by both muscle, means torque production by hamstring muscles is gradually increased and torque production by gluteus maximus is gradually reduced as trunk flexion is increased. Now we will discuss about how this torque production is changed during trunk flexion. To understand torque production of gluteus maximus and hamstring muscle during flexion. Torque means torque is equal to force into perpendicular distance. So when trunk move anteriorly, this perpendicular distance is changed. During trunk anterior rotation and during trunk flexion, pelvis is also move anteriorly. So suppose this is a hip bone. When hip joint pelvis rotate anteriorly, this ischial tuberosity move upward and outward. So in this case, first perpendicular distance is this one, but when pelvis rotate anteriorly, hip bone rotate anteriorly, this ischial tuberosity move upward and outward. So this perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation is increased, like when pelvis move anteriorly, ischial tuberosity move in this direction, upward and outward. So axis of rotation to ischial tuberosity distance is increased. So torque production of hamstring is increased. In case of gluteus maximus, when hip bone rotate anteriorly, this attachment site of gluteus maximus move anteriorly. So previously in neutral position, this is a perpendicular distance. When hip bone rotate anteriorly, this attachment site of gluteus maximus come closer. So if this is come closer, the force of gluteus maximus come closer to the axis of rotation, so that decrease perpendicular distance. Trunk extension. Trunk extension means come back from flex position to neutral position. In this, during flexion, movement initiate from lumbar spine and follows by pelvis. But during extension, first movement in the pelvis and then in lumbar spine. In this, movement initiate from pelvis so that increase activity of gluteus maximus, Gmax, and hamstring. Hamstring and gluteus maximus activity suddenly increase when trunk start extension. The activity of lumbar extensor increase, and in neutral position all three muscles show minimum activity, means lumbar spine, lumbar extensor, hams, and Gmax. All three muscles show minimum activity. Now move on contra-directional lumbopelvic rhythm. Contra-directional lumbopelvic rhythm. Contra-directional means lumbar spine and pelvis move in a opposite direction. This is possible, or this is because to maintain upper trunk means trunk above than L1 vertebra is maintained in neutral position, is fixed in neutral position. So first criteria for directional lumbopelvic rhythm: maintain upper trunk in neutral position or upright position. So in neutral position or upright position. So if lumbar spine move posterior direction, pelvis move anterior direction. Pelvis move anterior direction means it produce flexion. In this position, range of motion at neutral position is 90 degree, and when pelvis move anterior, it also increase flexion angle up to 30 degree. So net hip flexion angle is around 120 degree. So the range of motion of hip flexion during contra-directional lumbopelvic rhythm is 120 degree. So this is an example of flexion. And in extension, when lumbar spine move anterior direction, pelvis move posterior direction. In this position, lumbar spine at neutral position is 90 degree, and because it moves posterior, produce extension around 15 degrees. So net angle is around 75 degree maximum, and this is in extension. When pelvis move anteriorly, it is called anterior pelvic rotation. And when pelvis move posteriorly, it is called posterior pelvic rotation. So during flexion, pelvis move anteriorly, lumbar spine move posteriorly. So this is called anterior pelvic rotation. Range of motion is around 30 degree. 30 degree from 90 degrees. So total hip flexion is reach up to 120 degree. And in this pelvis move posteriorly and lumbar spine move anteriorly. So posteriorly up to range of motion is around only 15 degrees. So total range of motion is up to 75 degree hip flexion. In this position, during trunk flexion, because pelvis move anteriorly, so posterior capsule is tightened, and iliofemoral ligament is relaxed. And in extension, when pelvis move posteriorly, this posterior capsule is relaxed, and iliofemoral ligament is tightened. Now move on And adduction on pelvic on femoral osteokinematics. This is a midline passing from center. If pelvis move away from midline, it's called abduction, and if pelvis move closer to midline, it's called adduction. Adduction. During abduction, suppose this is a sacrum in neutral position, lumbar spine in neutral position. If pelvis is away from midline, means sacrum tilt towards the left side. This is left side represent right side. If sacrum tilt towards left side, means sacrum is tilting like this. Structure from right side is shortened and structure on the left side is lengthened. So it pull lumbar spine towards the left side. So lumbar spine move towards the left side. So it increase concavity towards the right and convexity towards the left. In case of adduction, when pelvis move close to midline, so that sacrum tilt like this, so structure on the right side is lengthened. This is neutral position. If sacrum tilt in this way, so structure towards the right side is lengthened and structure on left side is shortened. So lumbar spine move towards the right side. To maintain upper trunk in neutral position. In this position, this abduction range is around 0 to 30 degree and adduction range of motion is around 0 to 25 degree. This abduction is prevented by adductor magnus, force of adductor magnus, and adduction is prevented by gluteus medius, piriformis, IT band and TFL. Suppose this central part is a sacrum. This is for left side, left hip joint, center, and this is right hip joint center, and person is standing on right limb. So stance on right limb. When individual stands on right limb and pelvis from left side is moved anteriorly, they produce internal rotation on right hip. Means if left pelvis move anteriorly, they produce internal rotation on right hip, and if pelvis move posteriorly, they produce external rotation on right hip. The range of motion of this internal and external rotation is around 0 to 15 degree. And is associated with movement of lumbar spine is in opposite direction, so that if pelvis move anteriorly, the lumbar spine move posteriorly in internal rotation, and lumbar spine move anteriorly in external rotation. So the lumbar is, so this is for lumbar spine and this is also for lumbar spine. So lumbar is, now move on arthrokinematics.